being a dark-skinned actress and also being funny and maybe not being the ideal of what they thought funny girls looked like.
Right.
They didn't know what to do with me, and I got offered nothing after I finished that show.
For 5 unforgettable seasons, Living Single gave us laughter, love, and a tight-knit group of friends who felt like family. But behind the scenes of that beloved Brooklyn brownstone was a story the cameras never showed, a battle for respect, fair treatment, and the right to be seen. Now, decades later, the cast is breaking their silence, exposing hidden betrayals, moments of deep loyalty, and the industry politics that nearly tore them apart. From shocking network decisions to rival shows stealing the spotlight, this is the truth about Living Single that most fans never figured out until now. In August 1993, a young and ambitious Yvette Lee Bozer created something television had never truly seen before. At just 27 years old, she introduced Living Single, the story of 6 black professionals navigating love, friendship, and career challenges in a Brooklyn brownstone. There was Khadijah James, the confident editor-in-chief of Flavor magazine, played by Queen Latifah. Her sweet and slightly eccentric cousin Sinclair James, portrayed by Kim Coles. Their fashionable, opinionated friend Regin Hunter, brought to life by Kim Fields. Across the hall lived Kyle Barker, the smooth-talking stockbroker played by T.C. Carson, and his best friend Overton Wakefield Jones, the lovable handyman portrayed by John Henton. And then there was Maxine Shaw, the sharp-witted attorney and college friend of Khadijah, played by Erica Alexander. From the very beginning, trouble was brewing. Network executives wanted Maxine Shaw removed, claiming she was too strong and too opinionated. But Bozer, who saw herself in Max and had once dreamed of becoming a lawyer, refused. She told them, "If you get rid of Max, you get rid of me." They eventually compromised. Max could stay, but she would not live in the same apartment as the other women. That's why she was always bursting in from across the street, a decision born from the first battle to protect the show's vision. When the cameras first rolled on Living Single, the cast were strangers. They didn't have shared histories, inside jokes, or years of friendship to draw from. Yet, from the very first scene, they had to play lifelong friends. The bond we saw on screen wasn't instant. It was built, brick by brick, through shared work, respect, and real connections. Some of those connections were deeply personal. Queen Latifah's own mother, Rita Owens, stepped into the role of Khadijah's mom, bringing a natural warmth that couldn't be faked. Kim Fields' mother, Chip Fields, portrayed Regin's mom with the same sharp wit and commanding presence she carried in real life. These family ties blurred the lines between the show's fictional world and the cast's reality, adding a genuine heartbeat to the series. Even the brownstone itself carried a hidden story. The cozy, familiar set where so many unforgettable scenes took place. In its first season, it was actually recycled from the sitcom Family Matters. Yet inside those walls, they created something entirely original, a vivid, unapologetic portrayal of black life that was fresh, funny, and authentic in a way television rarely offered at the time. Then came 1994. Just a year after Living Single premiered, Friends debuted. 6 friends living in the city, navigating romance, careers, and friendship. The similarities were hard to ignore. The cast of Living Single suspected it wasn't coincidence. Years later, Queen Latifah confirmed it, revealing that NBC President Warren Littlefield had been asked in an interview which show he wished he had on his network. His answer, Living Single. Not long after, Friends was born. Kim Coles has never minced words about it. Friends was influenced by Living Single 100,000%. Even the quirky innocence of Sinclair mirrored Lisa Kudrow's Phoebe Buffet so closely. It was impossible to miss. But the real sting wasn't the similarities. It was the difference in treatment. Both shows were produced by Warner Brothers and filmed on the same lot. But Friends received bigger salaries, massive marketing campaigns, and the best resources. T.C. Carson put it plainly, we were getting less all around. And then they created Friends and gave them everything. It wasn't jealousy. It was the reality of working on the same lot as another show, seeing the glaring difference in treatment every single day. Ironically, the cast of Friends seemed unaware of the tension. At one event, Kim Coles approached Lisa Kudrow, introducing herself as from that other show. Kudrow smiled politely, but didn't recognize the name or the series. It was a moment that summed up the divide perfectly. While Friends was given a massive platform, Living Single was often left invisible. On the Living Single set, however, those inequities didn't divide them. If anything, they made the cast, especially the women, closer than ever. They created a private sisterhood, a safe haven against the pressures of the industry. Kim Coles revealed one of the most hurtful behind-the-scenes truths before each season. Executives called her manager with the same message: she needed to lose weight. The threats were blunt. If she didn't, they would start writing fat jokes into the script. When Erica Alexander found out, she refused to be complicit. "I won't read those jokes," she told them flatly. Queen Latifah stood beside her, making it clear those lines would never make it on the show. In their dressing rooms, they built something rare in Hollywood, a space of pure body positivity. They celebrated one another's curves, swapped compliments, and embraced their natural beauty without judgment. Over time, their connection became so deep it even showed physically. Their menstrual cycles began to align, a quiet but powerful sign that their lives were truly in sync. What they built together was more than friendship, it was survival. They also carried each other through grief. Queen Latifah mourning her brother Lancelot, who died in 1992 in a motorcycle accident, wore the key to his bike around her neck during every episode. A silent tribute hidden in plain sight. But even the strongest bonds can face breaking points. For Living Single, that moment came with the firing of T.C. Carson. Carson had become the spokesperson for the cast, pushing back when writers leaned towards stereotypes. He argued that portraying to buffoonish black men alongside for strong black women sent the wrong message. The network didn't see an advocate, they saw a problem. Near the end of season 4, they told Carson directly they'd never split up the group. It was a lie. In the storyline, Kyle left for a job in London. Off-screen, Carson asked if he was being fired. They said no. But minutes after his final episode aired, his lawyer called to tell him his contract was not being renewed. The impact was immediate. Erica Alexander later admitted she didn't know how to play Max without him. It was like somebody ripped your soul out and said, "Go." The final season introduced new characters like Trip and Ronnie, but the chemistry was gone. Even the rushed finale, revealing Max was pregnant with Kyle's baby via sperm donation, couldn't bring back the spark. When the brownstone doors closed for the last time, the cast didn't fade away. They reinvented themselves. Queen Latifah became a powerhouse in music, film, and television, starring in The Equalizer, and producing projects that put black women in leading roles. She has also become an advocate for health awareness and remains close to her Living Single family. Kim Fields moved into directing and producing, with credits on Kenan and Kel and Tyler Perry's shows. Before returning to acting in Netflix's The Upshaws, she launched her own coffee brand and wellness platform. Kim Coles faced depression and financial struggles before emerging as a successful author, motivational speaker, and co-host of the Reliving Single podcast with Erica Alexander. Erica Alexander co-founded Color Farm Media, producing acclaimed works like John Lewis, Good Trouble, and The Big Payback, while continuing to act in Get Out, American Fiction, and Run the World. T.C. Carson became a respected voice actor. Kratos in God of War, Mace Windu in Star Wars, The Clone Wars, and returned to his jazz roots, opening a club in Atlanta. John Henton survived a near-fatal car crash in 2000, enduring massive reconstructive surgery. He returned to stand-up comedy, performing on his own terms. Supporting cast members also thrived. Cress Williams starred in Black Lightning, while Bumper Robinson became a prolific voice talent in Transformers Animated, Justice League, Doom, and more. Now, in 2025, 30 years after its debut, the legacy of Living Single remains undeniable. It was more than just a sitcom. It was a revolution disguised as comedy. It gave a generation of viewers something rare, themselves fully realized, at the center of the story. Its influence can be seen in shows like Girlfriends, Insecure, and yes, even Friends. But the real legacy is what happened off camera, the cast's refusal to be erased, their loyalty to one another, and their determination to control their own narratives. The laughter you loved was forged in real struggle, unshakable loyalty, and moments that could have broken them. But they rose, stronger, prouder, and forever a family. If their story moved you, like this video, share it with friends, and keep the legacy of living single alive. Thanks for watching.